Well, a little son of a gun says it's waterproof. I think it's time to test that theory. Oh boy. That really is and that's kind of leaking a little bit. You have your basic ZZ Top beer going on here. I had never really looked at that. Jeez, I let it out. That's cool. Trippy. And it's raining. What a disaster. I could use some redneck high tea. Wow. That's a wicked lightning storm. Okay. Put that up in there. Man, that needs some cleaning. Everything needs some cleaning. Turn the AC off so I can run the microwave. I imagine they were at least somewhat serious about the waterproof capabilities of this camera. We'll see. That hit got, by the way, if you're going to run a computer at all, run it on a battery backup. This is not dangerous for me at all because everything runs on an uninterrupted power supply, a battery backup, and if you don't do that, you're liable to just destroy your computer without a rainstorm or a thunderstorm. But with a thunderstorm like this, I would turn it off and unplug it. It's on a battery, and basically I can run, even if the power goes off, everything will stay on for several hours, maybe several days. It depends. I have several of them in series parallel, just so. But basically the power comes out of the power pole into the battery, which stores it, and then it says you're only going to get exactly 115 volts at 15 amps at 60 cycles per second, and that's it. Even if 1 billion volts comes through, it'll blow up the battery before it'll let it get to the computer or any electronic stuff. That's the best investment I ever made. In for a penny, in for a pound. Everything's sealed up, and there's a mud puddle handy, redneck high tea. I think I'm going to throw this son of a bitch right out in the mud puddle. Even though I'm not rich anymore, sometimes I act like I am. It's like 65 bucks or 80 bucks for this camera, which I couldn't possibly replace. It's not that important, don't give a shit. It's cool, but... Oh, wow, that's hot. I wonder. Wonder how it'd be if I just tossed this son of a buck right into that camera, into that mud puddle. They said waterproof. It said waterproof. I got it. Oh, man. Well, I like to test a theory. That'll be something. They claim it's waterproof up to 10 feet. But yeah, if you're going to run a computer system at all, having the battery, the whole system on a battery backup is a no-brainer. It's only like $100 at any office store for a regular one. And I use professional grade ones that were, nowadays are only like double that, and uninterrupted power supply. And the thing is nothing will make your computer last longer or operate more faithfully, because I have software set up also that tells me that several thousand times a day there's what's called a brownout, which is the power suddenly is not at 115 volts, 15 amps, 60 cycles per second. One of those parameters changes, and brownouts are responsible for more data loss and computer damage than blackouts. So I wouldn't plug a computer in. I had one plugged in at my mom's place in this shitty little RV trailer park hell, and without a battery backup, and it smoked several in one day. Well, in a couple of days, I knew it was a bad idea. It smoked a 1 terabyte drive, which had years of stuff backed up on it. I thought, well, that sucks. It probably won't happen again soon. Next day, the same thing. Then when I did plug in the battery backup, it started telling me at her place, you get... I was getting thousands of brownouts a day and alarms. I had to turn the alarm off. But the battery just says, I don't accept your brownout. Whenever there's a sag in power, it amps it up in picoseconds, and now in nanoseconds, which is fast, just believe me, that's fast enough, it amps that power back up to exactly 115, 15, 60, where it has to be for the computer to function properly. See, it doesn't let it get a brownout, or like I said, a billion volts tries to come through. It says, blow me up, but not his precious Betty. Man, is it leaking? So, if any advice I could give anybody about anything, get a battery backup for your computer. Even a cheap one can be had for a few bucks, and I have my thoughts on that, but a cheap one won't keep your computer on long, but it will keep it from getting damaged thousands of times a day by brownouts, which happen everywhere. And a blackout's when power goes completely off. It will keep your computer on, save all your work for however expensive. Usually the length of volt amp hours is the key there. It will, it's just invaluable. You're just gonna have to trust me. I don't want to have to explain the whole damn thing. Get an UPS, uninterrupted power supply for your computer. If it's a laptop, then the power supply that comes with the computer sort of acts like that. So a lot of times your power supply will go out, but your computer's fine. But even for both, any computer should always, I won't even plug one in except into an uninterrupted power supply, because they last for years that way, and they operate more stable and more efficiently, and just better. It's just better, trust me. And that puddle really grew. Oh, it would have been good to mic up with a couple of stereo pair of really of those good KLMs or U87s in a stereo pair and make your own damn, like, really high frequency or broad frequency spectrum rainstorm with just the right amount of low end so you can dance. And these idiots putting binaural beats on those, thinking there's just so much of that, and they just don't know what they're doing. They're just basically fucking up a perfectly good storm. You can do some interesting and effective stuff with binaural beats, but for the most part, it's people who have no idea what they're doing about psychoacoustics or anything. So it's just they're ruining a perfectly good rainstorm, even though it's quote-unquote subliminal. Well, I wonder if this dang thing withstood that. That'll be curious. I was supposed to shoot Billy's knocking on heaven's door lead guitar when he was sitting out in the rain, because it's such a cool idea. Oh, but, you know, I didn't feel like getting all wet today. Some days I do. I love rain. This will be a big-ass file. That house down there is weird. It's abandoned, but I occasionally see in the top of it, there's a light on. It's the kids next door playing. I used to do that when I was a kid, get into old abandoned houses. So, yeah, it's a gold darn RV drag disaster. Oh, I turned the hot water heater on, that's right. It's shower time. I love that. For about, $40 a year I can have hot water, because it heats up the hot water, and man, that's a hell of a beard. Very ZZ Top. It heats up the water to full capacity in like 5 minutes, and I sort of amplified and modified it so it's like one of those instant heaters. The tank is really sort of, I looked at it like a tube. So as water goes through it, it's heated up enough to take a shower, and what the hell is that flashing on and off like that? be curious if I jack this up. But yeah, I mean, you know, the Japanese do stuff like this. Like it's all personal and very tiny modular places to live. But yeah, my hot water heater is like $40 a year or something like that to get hot water, if that, a year. Because it heats it up instantly. I keep it on for 5 or 10 minutes at a time, then turn it off because I don't need scalding hot water all the time. That's kind of cool. I mean, $40, if that, maybe $30 a year to have hot water, take a shower every day, which I do. Although honestly, I don't change clothes every day. I never see anybody, never go anywhere, and plus, it's just a big waste. I sleep in my clothes too because I don't want to bother with putting them on and off. Plus, it's real small in here, so it's like it's real hard to maneuver around and get clothes on and off. And like I say, I sleep in them a lot of times. Not that I'm Einstein or anything, but I don't have to think about that. I go to bed, my clothes, wake up. I pretty much have worn like a uniform, all black, for many years. Then I came out of that a few years ago and started wearing all kinds of stuff. But black, you don't have to do as much laundry. It doesn't show. Doesn't show dirt as much. So I like the look of that little fence. I won't have to do post-production on the video to make it look like there's water droplets on the camera. This is something kind of weird and magical about that house down there. But, you know, it's so poor, and this, you know, people, I've seen so many families come and go, and they move in. They want, in LA, that house would cost you, maybe $4,000 a month, $3,000, $4,000 a month. Here, it's, I think they want 15 or 2, way too much. Well, a homeowner would be better off renting it for just to cover his mortgage on that piece of property, which you could probably buy for $100 grand here in this environment. If that, maybe 60, 80 grand. He'd be better off covering himself on that with just renting it for just enough to pay the mortgage and the insurance and all costs every month, and making sure to have somebody in there, rather than having these young families come in with kids and shit trying to make rent that's way too high, and they come in, they stay for a couple of months and then bail. There's so many tactics with real estate you can use. I mean, he could do all kinds of stuff, but instead they get greedy and they'll let it sit idle, and then he'll go to the poorhouse over the damn thing. Because nobody's rich here. You know, it ain't like LA where guys have 10 houses. Shit, I used to have 3. And you just go, well, fuck it, that Malibu place is, I don't know what's happening with that. I guess somebody's living there, maybe, you know. It ain't like that. Hell no, it ain't like that. So, I'm going to test that goddamn waterproof theory. Done threw it in a mud puddle. I was going to dunk it. I didn't want to dunk it in the toilet, no. Take a shower with it. Like Ferris Bueller. Excuse me. Well, looks like my shower water. There's that monitor. Man, it's really coming down. You know, I haven't watched TV in 6 months. I have all the channels and shit. I haven't watched TV in 6 months. What else haven't I done in 6 months? Oh, I haven't taken a phone call in 6 months. I've got 3 local and long distance. You know, some things you just figure out they're not worth fooling with anymore. They're not worth your time. I love rain. This is a long-ass file.